And we're back. Welcome back to the podcast, Retirement Decoded with Scott Tucker. I'm your host, Scott Tucker. My trusty sidekick, as always, is Senior Associate Advisor at Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc., Max Wren. Say hello, Max Wren.
Hello, Max Wren. Hey, folks.
And if you want to see our robot cameras change to and fro between myself and Max Wren, you can always see that. The video version of the podcast is at tuckeryoutube.com. That's tuckeryoutube.com. Max, here we are, podcast episode 86. You can tell we've been doing this for a while, Max. It's been almost 2 years, or it's been more than 1 year. I don't know where 86 puts it, but it's about a year. It's about a year and a half, I think.
Do a lot of them.
I don't know. I can't do that. I can't do math and chew gum at the same time, as they say. So today's question, Max, comes from Michelle. Michelle lives in in Glenview. So Glenview Naval Air Station, it was one of the bases closed down. It's north of Chicago. And nowadays, Max, I play hockey in Glenview. They have a nice new kind of community center, a couple ice rinks there. So Glenview Naval Air Station shut down. And that used to be, I don't know, maybe half the size of the town of the village of Glenview was the Naval Air Station. And back when it was Naval Air Station, you have F-14s landing and taking off and F-18s landing and taking off and all this stuff going on. You know, a lot of people didn't want to live right in Glenview because of the jet noise.
Yeah.
So a lot of people would live in Northbrook, which is just north of Glenview. And these are northern Chicago suburbs. Yep. But back when they did the base realignment, they did this, probably shut down Glenview about 25 years ago. Glenview NAS Glenview Naval Air Station. And it was a giant redevelopment opportunity. And the Glen, so Michelle lives in the Glen, that is part of, the Glen used to be the Glenview Naval Aviation Station. And they went ahead and just cleared all that out. And they still kept some of the names, like there's Patriot Boulevard and there's names like that. So they kept a lot of the street names, but the base isn't there anymore. Just some remnants. They kept an air traffic control tower. So there's kind of a cool couple businesses that are in this building that used to be the air traffic control tower. That's pretty cool. So it's a neat town. And it's right up, I think you can take the metro downtown right through Glenview too. So it's kind of like a nice commuter bedroom community, but it's more than that. It's quite affluent now too, because they got to kind of do a planned community there. It's pretty neat. So Michelle lives in the Glen in Glenview. Hey, Max, they have a Costco over there, too.
There you go.
You could go to the Costco in Glenview.
Just what a single guy needs, Costco.
You know, yeah, that's a great idea, isn't it? I used to go to Costco, and about 20 years ago, I stopped going because I came home with golf clubs. Like, I went for groceries, came home with golf clubs.
Sounds about right.
Like, I hardly even golf. Another time I went for groceries, I came home with a propane heater.
There you go. Just what you needed.
I used both, but...
Propane heater?
A propane heater. I had like a rooftop deck.
Oh, okay.
So I came home with a propane heater.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, but it's just I'm at the Costco buying 10,000 Q-tips and 157 razors, and
they got the propane heater right by the exit or something.
No, the
like,
propane.
I gotta get one of those.
I know, it was like they put it in the middle of the store. They move all this stuff around so you run into it.
Right.
Another time I came home with a pound of garlic.
Pound.
What do you do with a pound of garlic? That's stupid.
Not like 3 cloves or something. A pound.
No. Yeah, like right now, if you get a bulb of garlic, for most things you're gonna make, a bulb of garlic is too much.
Yeah.
Well, it's too much, right?
Right.
Like, I don't know how many cloves are in a bulb, but it's 8 or 10 or 12 or something like that. It's probably 8 or 10. So a lot of things you make, if I get in trouble with Natalie, if I put more than 3 cloves of garlic into anything I make, she's like, there's too much garlic. I don't talk like that. She doesn't talk like that. But that's my radio and podcast impersonation of Natalie. Actually, she's in the studio. I don't talk like that. But if I put 3 cloves of garlic in anything I make, oh my goodness, yeah, I'm going to hear about it. Let alone if I put a whole bulb in there. But I came home from Costco one time, and I had this big plastic jar, and it was, this is pre-Natalie, about 20 years ago. I'm like, oh, that's a heck of a deal on garlic. So I came home with this like 1 pound jar of garlic. I'm like thinking like it's going to last forever. And I'm like, wait, what am I doing?
Yeah. Does it go bad?
It can. Yeah. I would think you keep it refrigerated, it lasts longer, but what was I even going to do with it? What was I thinking?
Yeah. I don't even know.
I don't know. I was in my late 20s, so I didn't know any better.
It was a good deal though, right?
Yeah. Well, that must have been 25 years ago. I'm getting old. I'm 53. I'm over the garlic hill. So podcast episode 86, Michelle from the Glen in Glenview. She asked us, Max, what's the biggest mistake people make with inherited IRAs after the Secure Act?
It's a good question.
Well, Max,
that's a great question, Michelle. I like this one.
Max, as you know, there are 2 Secure Acts. Now,
there are.
there's a Secure Act of 2019, and then there's a thing they call the Secure Act 2.0.
2.0.
Now, this is one I'm fuzzy on, Max. Do you remember which year the Secure Act 2.0 was passed or signed into law?
I thought it was. I thought it was like 2019ish.
Well, that's the first. That's the first one.
Yeah, you just said the first one was. See, I thought the first one was passed around 2016.
No, the first one I know was 2019 because I wrote.
Yeah, I have no idea.
This is the Stump the Chump portion of today's program. So yeah, I know the first one was 2019, but then they called the second one. They didn't call the second. Yeah, you look it up while we're talking. I want to say I'm going to place my bets as if it's a roulette table. I'm going to say 2.0 Secure Act 2.0 was 2022, and as a backup answer, yeah, it would be I think it's 2022 for 2.0.
December 2022.
Okay. So the first one was Secure Act 2019, and then the next one is Secure Act 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So Michelle from the Glen and Glenview says, Max, what's the biggest mistake people make with inherited IRAs after the Secure Act? So Michelle, the Secure Act that would affect an inherited IRA, you're referring to 2019. Because 2019 is where if you inherit an IRA from a parent, let's say, that's what I think what you're getting at. That's what she means. So it is not a problem if you inherit it from your spouse or if you inherit it and you're disabled or if you're there's certain caveats, right? But I think what Michelle and the Glen is getting from in Glenview is that if she inherited an IRA from a parent under the Secure Act of 2019, so if your parent passed away 2020 or later, Michelle, this is the bad news. You have just 10 years to fully liquidate the the inherited IRA under Secure Act 2019. And you have to pay federal income tax on that money every year like that. You got to get it done within 10 years. It's going to push you up in tax bracket in many cases. And so let's say your mom left this to you, because usually everybody has a mom and a dad, even if you don't have a mom or a dad. You came from somewhere. So let's say your dad passed away first, and then your mom passed away last, and your mom left her IRA, or what became her IRA, maybe from when your dad passed, I don't know. So your mom passes away, leaves you her IRA. Now it's not your IRA. So Max, all the time, people will ask us things. This is going on a tangent, but here's what people ask us. Max, I inherited an IRA from my mom. Can I Roth convert it?
Yeah, I wish. That'd be nice.
That'd be awesome. You can't do it. Max, I inherited...
People ask the same thing with their IRAs and RMDs. Can I just do a Roth
Oh,
conversion?
boy, one thing at a time, Max.
Yep.
So, Max, I inherited an IRA from my mom. Can I Roth convert it? May not. You can't do that. Max, I inherited a Roth IRA from my mom. Is it now my Roth IRA? No. It's an inherited Roth.
Yeah, I was going to say, kind of is, kind of isn't.
Well, it is, but it isn't.
Yep.
It's depends what the meaning of the word is. It's a little flashback from 1998, I think. Yeah. So people all the time say, Max, I inherited an IRA from my mom. Can I Roth convert it? No, you may not. In fact, you inherited an IRA. It's still tax deferred. The IRS is still going to get their pound of flesh, and now they're going to get it a little more quickly because congratulations, you have to pony up and distribute every year and get it all done within the next 10 years. And you can do it faster if you want, but the IRS is going to get their share. But Max, I inherited a Roth from my mom. Is it now my Roth? Not really. The best you can do with it is you inherited this Roth, and you can make it an inherited Roth, and you're allowed to grow it tax-free for 10 more years, then cash it out tax-free. But Max, how many people screw it up? They inherited a Roth. What did most people who inherited a Roth do with it day one?
What was that stat we were reading the other day where it said people fully liquidate inheritances they receive? Then, what was it?
42% of beneficiaries or heirs, you could say, I guess, too. It depends on which. Compliance doesn't like us saying heirs if we could say beneficiaries. It's a whole thing. But anyway, 42% of inheritances are squandered. You could say squandered. That's a great word. That's a good word, squandered. Yeah. If you leave your money to your kids, 42% of your kids, boy, you have a lot of kids. You have 100 kids. If you leave your money to your kids, 42% of your kids, 42% your kids, not all kids do it. I guess it depends on the size of the inheritance too, but it's a stat in America that within 12 months, 42% of inheritors have run through the money in 12 months.
I say that's a very, very accurate stat. It may be even a little too low of a percentage.
It seems to me to be higher.
Yeah, I would say maybe it's 2/3. I think 2/3 sounds about right in my experience.
Because how many kids that inherit money want to own up to the pollster that, yeah, I peed through that money right away.
Yeah. I kid you not, almost every single, when the kids do inherit the money, I think almost every single time you see them buy a new car, almost every single time.
Which is not a great decision.
One of the worst ones you can make. I've had a lady inherit $700K and she spent $600K of it within a year. Facial reconstructive surgery, plastic surgery.
And she already had a face.
Yep. Got every kind of job you could imagine.
You mean not working though?
Yeah, right.
She got all the face,
all the plastic and cosmetic jobs, surgeries you could get. She spent $600K in maybe like 10 months.
So she was hoping if she got pretty fast enough that she would need the money because then she'd catch Mr. Right with her fake face.
Oh, it was funny because she was going to like very posh places, think like Miami Beach, and then picking up dudes there and then like breaking up with them after a day or something.
What?
And then finding like a new boyfriend and spend a ton of money and impress them and drop him and then get another. I don't know. It was weird. But yeah, most people are going to spend all your wealth when you're no longer around, and they're going to spend it on all those bells and whistles and toys. They're not.
They're gonna do with your money. So our clients tend to be frugal, not all of them, but
yeah, very frugal.
Well, we have two kinds, right? We have the so frugal. We had a couple come see us. They didn't end up becoming our clients. Became clients of a friend of ours, because it's like, they pulled names out of a hat, and I said, you know what, you guys are pretty sharp. We would do a good job for you. The other gentleman you're talking about would do a good job for you, and then the other guy you're talking about, we know all of them. We tend to all know each other, if not all, but quite a bit. So they said, well, we're talking to you, we're talking to this other guy, and we're talking to this other guy. And they go, well, if you don't like, they named somebody that I didn't quite care for as far as being able to trust them with the money so much. Most financial planners are awesome, but would I send my mom to this person? They would help you with some things. Would they do a perfect job? No. And I'm not saying we're perfect either, but I go, well, if it's between the three of us, the other guy, nice guy, but he's a little sloppy, cut some corners. I don't quite like that. We would take care of you like family. And then this other person they named, I go, that person is also terrific. And the gentleman of the couple was sort of like a retired engineer, so he was a little more particular than might be enjoyable to work with, although they're super nice people. It was just he was like a nitpicker to a point that where it doesn't. There's a point to be a nitpicker, and there's a point to be a nitpicker doesn't matter, and just gets in the way of the whole thing. So I said, well, you're going to go see this other person that we know that we really respect, and he's a little bit more particular too. And if you don't like us, then you ought to work with him. And they went with the other person that we thought would do a great job. I'm happy that we warned them away from the one person and towards the right direction. And it didn't do us any good, but it did that person good, and that's what we cared about. It's not every nickel has to fall in our bucket, okay? So, but what was funny about that couple, they were so frugal. They came to us. They live in Des Plaines, which is a suburb, I don't know, a door over, like a block away as Des Plaines starts from our office. And we were talking about frugality, and we got the wife to admit that she said, I can't believe this inflation. A glass of wine at dinner is $12. And I'm thinking, Natalie and I went to some place a week or two ago, something like a steak place. I wish the glass of wine was $12.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on with the glasses of wine? I sound like that lady. But she goes, yeah, we went to this restaurant and then the glass of wine is $12. This restaurant we like to go to. She goes, so now I sneak it in. I go, what are you talking about? She goes, yeah, I have those little baby bottles, like the screw cap. I have it in my purse.
Insane.
But then, so do you think the server doesn't know you did that? Like, you say, do you want wine? They say no, and they take your wine glass away.
Right.
They turn back away. What do? You slam your water, and then the next thing you know, your water glass is full of wine.
Yep.
And then you put the bottle in your purse. Like, what's the server thinking? Like,
see,
are you the most horrible person?
I used to be a server at a nice Italian pizza restaurant. So hearing those kind of stories, Scott, like they really, really get me going because people always do these little things to not give you a bigger tip. And one of those things leads to you not getting a bigger tip.
Oh, wow. Well, what I was thinking about, so it's the server, right? The server who makes like $2.35 an hour.
Right. $2.75.
You're screwing them out of the proper tip because you're sneaking in a baby bottle of wine that you paid. What is a baby bottle? I don't even know what it costs.
I don't know.
What would that cost if it's got? Well, let's say if it had 2 glasses of wine, it might be a $5. I think a lot of decent bottles of wine are maybe $10.
I never drink wine.
Like at Benny's, maybe $10 ish. I think is reasonable. So a baby bottle that has, well, I don't even know if she would spend $10 now that I think about this. So those little baby bottle, if a baby bottle, I'm not sure what's in a baby bottle. I think 2 glasses of wine. So let's say that would be $5 tops, probably that the lady would spend. So she sneaks her $5 in, and she gets the equivalent of two $12 glasses of wine. So there's $24. So she's like, I'm a hero. I've got $4 million. I've got $4 million. They didn't get me for $24 for 2 glasses of wine. I instead get my $5 worth in their counter to their $24. I saved $19.
Yeah.
You have $4 million. Just pay, because here's the thing I worry about. Now you worry about I never worked as a server. You worry about the server getting their tip. Yep. I worry about the restaurant going out of business because a lot of restaurants, unless you're in like Utah, which I have friends in Utah. This is not a LDS slam, but outside of Utah, a lot of these restaurants, their whole economic model is. Here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize this. Like a steakhouse, like the better steakhouse where the steak's real expensive, that steak, they might be making like $1 on the steak. But they might be making a couple bucks on the broccoli and like a couple bucks on the potato. Like they might make $5 on broccoli and $5 on the potato, make $1 on the steak, and then they might make $5 on the salad. They might make $5 or $10 on like $5 on dessert. And then, that wine that they paid, $2.50 a glass of wine, and then they sell the wine for $12. So they might make like $10 ish, $9.50 on the wine. Mm-hmm. That's how they stay in business.
Yeah.
If you want to screw up these restaurants, tell them you don't want anything other than the steak. I'm just gonna eat the steak. Give me a glass of water, and then you sneak in your baby bottle of wine, and they're not looking. So. A lot of people think about how cheap they can be at the restaurants. I'm worried about the restaurant. The restaurants barely make it in a good year.
Oh, that's why you're seeing so many of them fold up.
Yeah.
So,
well, a lot of them are folding up because they're like Darden restaurants or whatever. Like they're going to buy a Red Lobster and they're going to drive the cost of food down and then drive the retail prices up. And they wonder why people stop going.
Right.
Who's going to pay a bazillion? Like Cracker Barrel did that. They took all the sausage out of the sausage gravy, Max.
How dare they?
How is it sausage gravy and there's no sausage in it?
Oh, it's like
I want to talk to the manager.
It's even going to these fast food places. I went to Taco Bell maybe like a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Oh, boy, you're brave.
Hey, this thing was like more expensive than Chipotle. I was like, what the heck am I doing at Taco Bell?
No, I would eat at Chipotle. I'm not eating Taco Bell, Max. Come on now.
Yeah, Chipotle. I should have done Chipotle.
You're a grown man.
I know. I was like, what am I doing? I'm in my 30s eating at Taco Bell. Yeah, I don't know.
I'd eat at Chipotle. It's good food.
Yeah, Chipotle's good. I've made a little personal vendetta against Chipotle. So
do you get like those little dolls? You stick needles in the doll. Is that what you do?
That'd be more fun.
What is that? A voodoo doll?
Yeah, voodoo. Yeah,
I saw that in Gilligan's Island, the voodoo doll.
Yeah, it's a great show too.
So you made. What was your problem with who now?
So I'm still back in my college days where I could get a chicken burrito for $5.75.
When I was in college.
Yep. And now I think chicken burritos are like $12, $13.
Oh yeah.
So I look at that and I just say no, thank you.
So did you start raising chickens in your backyard?
I wish. When I was in Washington State, everyone had 3 or 4 chickens. So
yeah, but they have them for eggs or what do they do?
Yeah, just for eggs. It would be awesome because you'd go to work and all of a sudden you have like 8 mismatched colored eggs on your desk. And you're like, what the heck? And so it's your neighbor at work who just gave you their half dozen eggs they had too many of. So yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, but then you're eating eggs all the time, Max.
Yeah, a little bit, but those are the best eggs. They are the best. So great farm fresh eggs. Ooh.
So the price of beef gone up, Max? Are you gonna get a beef steer, put them in your backyard?
No, I'll still pay the price of beef. So they got me there.
Are you afraid you come home and Max lives in the city in Logan Square? You come home from work and you go look out in your backyard and somebody stole your beef cattle?
I could do that if I wanted. I could have some
I think-
cattle back
I
there.
think you need a permit.
It's Chicago. You don't really need a permit. So just ask for forgiveness if
boy.
they catch you.
They used to have a place in Bucktown on Damon by, what was that by? Can't think exactly what cross street it was. I think it was, Damon and Armitage, something over there. They used to have a place when it was still gentrifying, before it got to be schwanky in Bucktown there.
Mm-hmm.
It was on Damon, and they had the place. It was a Mexican place. We have a lot of Mexican immigrants in Chicago.
Got the best Mexican food.
Oh yeah, it really is.
Yep.
But they had a place that had it was a Mexican owned store, and it catered to Mexican patrons. And what did they do? They sold live chickens.
Nice.
Well, here's the problem though. The alderman Ted Matlack, 32nd Ward, former Alderman Matlack. I had lunch with him one time. He goes, yeah, there's a problem with this place over by there. And he goes, yeah, problem with that place. It's great, it's they're farm fresh, farm to table, all this stuff. He goes, well, here's a problem. You go in there and you pick out a live chicken, but then you leave with a no longer live chicken. And the problem is, okay, I hope nobody's eating breakfast. The problem is they just whack them right there, and they were draining all the blood into the sewer. They had no further sanitation.
Ratchet stuff.
they had no further sanitation plan. Then we take a live chicken, we chop its head off. We drain the blood into the sewer, and here's your chicken, sir.
See, that's one of the amazing things about the United States is our health codes and things like that.
Well, in Chicago, boy, I'm really going to kill the tourism for our listeners outside of Chicago. The problem is they were just draining it into the sewer, and I guess the sanitation system takes care of it. But our in some cases, the waste in some municipalities and things, if the wastewater goes to the sewage plant, and then they got to purify the water to make it drinking water and all this stuff, you really don't want to start with blood.
Yeah, right.
It's less than ideal.
Yeah,
there's enough stuff probably in the sewer in Chicago without. Hey, this weekend we just killed 100 chickens.
Right.
Yeah. But hey, farm fresh food. Farm fresh food.
Who would want nothing different?
Yeah. But I tell you, if you want some good Mexican food, you got two choices. You got Mexico or Chicago. Where else? I would say probably LA, Texas. I mean, Texas a little bit more
Tex-Mex.
bit more Tex-Mex. In Chicago, I think the Mexican food is a little bit more Mexican, although it is more of an American version of Mexican. Although you can go, there are places you can still go to, like in Pilsen or Little Village, and you can have a language barrier, but you can get enough between Google Translate nowadays and stuff. You can ask the server, get me what what would you serve your brother? That kind of thing. And then just fix you a plate. And it won't even look like Mexican food, nothing you recognize, but it'll be amazing. I used to do that place called El Milagro, the place that makes the tortilla chips. They have a little place there, and I used to go there a week when I used to live in Roscoe Village. I'd go there sometimes for breakfast during the week once in a while. Mm-hmm. And this was back before they had anybody there who spoke English. I think they had one girl who halfway spoke English, and I go, what would you get for your brother? So she made me the plate for breakfast. It was amazing. I couldn't recognize anything on the plate, but it was amazing.
Probably in beef tongue and chicken feet.
Well, this is back before Gringos used to get green sauce, or it was like green sauce on eggs and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's way back when.
Yeah, way back before Gringos knew about green sauce. Yeah. Well, was it? It was about 20 years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, but that nowadays you go to El Milagro, this is tortilla factory in a neighborhood called Pilsen, kind of near downtown, but kind of just gently southwest. And but they have a little lunch and breakfast kind of place there, and it's amazing. Steak tacos with I'm gonna get hungry. Anyhow,
we got the best Mexican food though, for real.
Yeah. So Michelle from the Glen and Glenview, what's the biggest mistake people make with inherited IRAs after the Secure Act? They think they can Roth convert them. They think they inherit their mom's Roth and it's their Roth. So your mom's Roth does not become your Roth. It becomes what most people do when they inherit a Roth IRA, they cash it right out. They kill the tax-free growth they could have for 10 more years. So it's a little tricky. You can't have a check paid to you and then put it into an inherited Roth. We have to do a direct transfer. So you get your mom put you on there as beneficiary of her Roth IRA. Then we have to do a direct transfer. The money never touches your hands. It goes from your mom's Roth to your inherited Roth. Now we can grow it tax-free 10 more years, then cash it out tax-free. Don't miss out on the 10 years tax-free growth. That's what most people mess up. And as we were talking about that stat that we saw the other day, Max, 42% of inheritors, they spend through the inheritance, and 42% spend through the inheritance in 12 months. Now, another friend of ours down in Charleston, who's a financial planner, he recently found a stat, and I haven't had time to talk to him about it, but he recently found a stat that most inheritances are blown in 7 months. So think about, I don't want you to die broke, right? And if you don't die broke, you're going to leave some money behind. Make sure you have fun with your own money before you leave it behind. Because you might, say you start working at 25 and you pass away at 85, 60 years, you're accumulating money, maybe hoarding money, maybe sneaking wine bottles into the restaurant, whatever you were doing, cutting your pills in half, eating cat food for dinner, whatever you're doing. Make sure you enjoy your life and your money, because that 60 years it took you to accumulate that money, some little rascal is going to rip through it in 7 months. Max, they're going to buy a Corvette or something.
I was gonna say they're gonna buy a Corvette or a Hellcat or some kind of $80,000 car at a very minimum.
Oh, you got to spend at least $100.
Yeah.
I was thinking, Hellcat. That's a good idea, Max.
Yeah.
Yeah. When my mom kicks it, I'm gonna see if I can buy a Hellcat. Well, get on our phone calendar. Click down below. You're gonna see. If you're listening to the audio version, you're really missing out. I tell you what, how handsome we are at tuckeryoutube.com. But if you want to get on our phone calendar, 15 minutes for free in the coming week with one of our financial planners, get your financial planning questions answered and your answers questioned. Not only from myself, but Max, Saida, Matthew. We have 4 financial planners here at Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. Just want to click down below where it says tuckerretirement.com, see our phone calendar, or just type tuckerretirement.com into your browser address bar thing, tuckerretirement.com, and we'll talk to you 15 minutes for free over the telephone. And we'll see you next week on the podcast.